Hi everyone, I'm Tom LeBlanc with Tom LeBlanc Finance and welcome to the channel. Here we talk about saving money, making money, and investing money, all on our way to financial independence and financial freedom. So today what I want to talk about are some habits and statistics of millionaires that can actually help you in your everyday life. You might think that millionaires have much different lives than we do and that they got there in much different ways. But as you'll see from these habits and statistics, that's not necessarily the case. Some of these habits are things that you can incorporate into your everyday life, and according to the statistics, they'll actually help you over the long term. So with that being said, let's get into it. So before getting into the habits here, I want to talk about the millionaire statistics. The first one, which may come as a bit of a surprise, is that 86% of millionaires in the US are actually first-generation millionaires. What this means is that they didn't inherit their wealth from their family, but rather they made it all on their own. So what this means is that 86% of millionaires did not come from rich families, which really just goes to point out the fact that it's all on the individual. Now, coming from a rich family, of course, is going to have its benefits in becoming a millionaire, but the fact that the vast majority of millionaires today did not inherit their wealth, that really says something for the power of the individual in order to get to that point. So, two more statistics that shouldn't come as much of a surprise given that first one, is that 66% of millionaires today own their own businesses. And in addition to that, 86% of millionaires work more than 50 hours per week at their jobs. Now, climbing the corporate ladder, as we all know, in order to become a millionaire is difficult and presents its challenges. And not to say that starting your own business doesn't have its own challenges, but I like to think of it as, rather than climbing the corporate ladder, you're building your own ladder, and you're solving a problem that identifies with you, or that you think that you have a specific niche that you can reach in order to build that ladder and help people. So when you're getting paid for your value based on these services and solutions that you provide, this is what those 66% of millionaires have used in order to get to the status that they're at. So another statistic that I find really important is that most millionaires, 65% of them, have at least 3 sources of income. What this does is it hedges you against your other sources of income. So you're not just relying on your salary or the money that you're making from your job, but rather you have things like rental income or investments or dividends and things like that that are also bringing you money besides the job that you have. So you're not solely reliant on one stream, and you have things coming in from a whole bunch of different directions. And if one fluctuates up and down, like as the stock market fluctuates up and down, or there's layoffs, or you switch jobs and things like that, you always have at least those other 2 sources of income that are coming in to help you grow your investment accounts, grow your IRA, and grow all of these things to really get your net worth higher and higher, and then eventually get to that millionaire status. So now that we talked about those millionaire statistics, let's talk about the millionaire habits that these millionaires do day in and day out and are easy to follow, and you can follow too. So the first thing that is a common habit among millionaires actually starts first thing in the morning. So one of the things that they do is they actually think about their long-term goals and their short-term goals first thing in the morning. And one way that they do this is really 2 ways. They do either meditation, where they focus on what they want to accomplish in a long span of time and also on a daily basis. The other way to do this, which is more visual and more physical, is by journaling. So they might start with their long-term goals and say, well, now what do I do today to help me get there? Or they just start with their daily goals and say, what do I want to get accomplished today? And having this first thing in the morning really helps get the entire day started, where you always have that in the back of your mind of what is it that I want to accomplish today. Visualization is actually really important with this habit as well. You're visualizing yourself in the future of having accomplished those goals. And so having that in your mind and really living in that future moment for a little bit in the morning, and really visualizing yourself as, okay, this is the person that I am going to be in the future, then it helps you develop these almost subconscious habits and everything as living like that person. I know this might sound a little crazy, but really seeing yourself as a successful and wealthy person in the future has really been shown to get you there much more easily. It's almost like when somebody's putting themselves down all the time. If you keep telling yourself that you can't do something, then you're not even going to try. If you tell yourself that you can do it and you really believe in yourself and you believe in your ability to get there, then there's a much higher chance that it actually will happen. So another habit followed by most millionaires is the habit of reading. This shouldn't come as much of a surprise, as most millionaires focus on self-education. And so what reading does is that it might enhance your knowledge about something that you already know and teach you new things about it, but it can also give you different viewpoints into those things, as different books, of course, are written by different authors. You could take investing, for instance. Hearing the arguments for all of these different strategies and seeing all these different viewpoints can really open your mind up into thinking, which one do I identify with the most, and what can I learn about the ones that I don't follow? And of course, the benefits that you learn from these books doesn't just relate to investing, but it could relate to your everyday life as well, such as the benefits that someone might see of waking up early in the morning, or the benefits someone might see of staying up late at night. And seeing what people are arguing for or against in these books can help you identify which habits and which strategies that you might want to follow just in your everyday life. Another habit, which I find personally very important, is sticking to a routine. So what I mean by sticking to a routine, you can take working 9 to 5, for instance. Like if you have a job that requires you to clock in at 9 and to clock out at 5, at 9 o'clock you're going to have that trigger that says, I need to work right now. And so it works almost like a habit, and it basically is a habit, where you're following a routine that every day you're doing the same sort of things. So at that certain time, you might get the feeling of, okay, now it's time for X activity. Like say you read every morning, for instance. When you wake up in the morning and you start doing your morning routine, there's going to be a trigger that's going to make you want to read. You really want to at that time simply because you do it every day. Forming these good habits through a routine is what is really important for achieving that millionaire status. If you have the method of how you want to get there and you know what you need to do, then incorporating that into a daily routine can really help you achieve that goal in the future. Having a routine almost helps you achieve your goals passively, as you're simply going through the motions and going and doing these things at these certain times each day. So you don't really need to convince yourself, like, okay, now this is the time I need to motivate myself to do this. You're like, okay, it's 9 o'clock, now I need to start working. But while these good habits can happen passively and it can be easier to follow as you follow this daily routine, there is also a caveat to that. Bad habits work the same way. So falling into bad habits such as sleeping in late or eating unhealthy or not doing the work that you know that you need to do can also become a sort of a passive thing and end up taking you further away from your goals. Really defining it, good habits are what bring you towards your goals and bad habits are what bring you away from your goals. So needless to say, forming good habits is important and eliminating bad habits is also important. So with that all being said, here are some good habits and some bad habits that millionaires follow or try to avoid. The first being that 76% of millionaires exercise for 1 hour at least 4 times per week. 76% also watch less than 1 hour of TV per day. 63% of millionaires also surf the internet for less than 1 hour per day. And when I say surf the internet, I'm also including social media. So I hope you enjoyed the video. If you found value in this content, please like and subscribe below. And I'll see you in the next one.